I need some Chanel inspiration these days. I recently thought about maybe selling the 2 Chanel bags that I purchased directly from the boutique. I purchased these bags, so it's this one right here, and then I have this one, which I actually really like this bag, but I just don't tend to gravitate towards it. This one, I believe, is the lambskin, so I just know, like, hearing about like how delicate it is. I've worn this bag out quite a bit, and it doesn't have the worst wear, but I haven't worn it in a long time. And this bag, I believe I purchased it from the boutique for like $2,400. It's got a little pocket in the front, and then it's stuffed right now, full. And then I purchased this bag, same thing from the boutique, I believe again around for $2,400. I don't know what kind of leather this is, glazed, I don't know, goat or lambskin, I'm not quite sure, but I like this bag because I use it when I'm going to like a wedding or just somewhere where I want it to be a little bit more dressed up. It's a flap bag, and it's just not like your classic flap. It's got burgundy on the inside. I like it, but it's just kind of more dressy, and that's not my vibe, so I don't gravitate towards it all the time. But I was just kind of thinking like maybe I should sell them and put it towards something that I know I would wear, probably something like Hermes. I don't like selling my bags on eBay or anything like that because I just feel like it's an easy way to get scammed. And so really the only place I feel comfortable selling my bags is Fashion File. And Fashion File, I just feel like really lowballed me with these bags. I mean, I purchased them back in I think around 2011 for $2,400 each, and they were offering me $2,400 for both of them. So $1,200 for this one, $1,200 for this one. This bag is so soft. I really haven't picked it up in quite a while, but I just felt like maybe it would benefit me to have some Chanel inspo. So I pulled up, I actually looked quite a bit online, like on Instagram and just like Google images for pictures of Chanel bags that would just inspire me to want to grab these again. And nothing really lashed out at me, or jumped out at me. So what I did was I found from the actual Chanel website the history of Chanel. And from what I know now, one of my like first memories of like the house, I was in my early 20s. I was dating this guy, and he wanted me to spend more time with his sister. So his sister and I went to the mall together, and she was a little bit younger than me, but she was super into fashion, and she took me into Chanel, and she asked to see the classic flap. I think it was a size small or medium, and she was just oogling, ogling all over it, and it was cool, but I thought it was a little crazy to be spending at the time $4,000 in a bag. LOL, now that's the norm for me, I guess. But yeah, like I thought it was a cool bag, but I wasn't inspired to necessarily have to have Chanel at the time. But fast forward, I just kind of thought it was a big deal when I got my, big girl job to be able to go into a Chanel boutique and purchase a Chanel bag. So I did so twice. And I do like these bags, but also I don't gravitate towards them, like I said. So I was wondering if maybe I should put the money towards something, but I just feel like $1,200 for both of them is really, really low, and I should enjoy what I have, because I guarantee if I sell them, I'll probably regret it, and in the future want to buy more Chanel, and I'd have to spend a lot more money to get something probably of way less quality. So here we are. I'm going to go through the history of Chanel on Chanel's actual website and see what they have to say. All I know about Chanel is that she was poor. I think she was an orphan, and then she ended up learning to sew because she was, I don't know, maybe she was like in a factory. I don't know. This is all alleged, just kind of like what I think I've learned over the past couple years. But she ended up making hats, and then she made outfits, and then she used the scraps to make bags, and the bags blew up. So I think that's the general story. So hopefully we'll go ahead and find out. I haven't really read through this, so we'll kind of learn what Chanel has to say about their own history together. So it says 1883, the birth of, is it Gabrielle Chanel. Chanel is born in Saumur, France on August 19th, 1883, under the sign Leo. Okay. And then it says in 1910, opening of Chanel Modes. So Coco, as she has come to be called, opens a hat boutique at 21 Rue Cambon under the name Chanel Modes. Her hats were worn by well-known French actresses of the era and helped build her reputation. And they've got some pictures. I'm assuming they're authentic pictures, not just like recreations. So 1912, opening of the first Chanel boutique in Deauville. Gabrielle Chanel opens her first boutique in Deauville. From 1913, she begins to sell a line of sportswear made of jersey, a material that was previously used to make men's underwear. This approach revolutionized fashion and women's relationships with their bodies. It was an instant success. Okay, so thinking about that now, like obviously we use the same material in men's underwear to make like probably my tank top cotton, right? But just thinking about it, like back in 1912, if there was a material that was only used for men's underwear, I'm surprised that was a success, because you're just kind of thinking like, what are you doing? I don't know. Maybe that's why I'm not a designer. 1915, opening the first Chanel couture house in Biarritz. Encouraged by her success, Mademoiselle Chanel opens her first couture house in Biarritz, France. She employs 300 workers there and designs her first haute couture collection. Okay, I guess it shows the first house. 1918, opening of the 31 Rue Cambon boutique. So Gabrielle Chanel purchases the building at 31 Rue Cambon and sets up her couture house there. The 31 building housed a boutique, salons, and workshops, a layout that remains the same today. That would be pretty cool to go and check out. So if that is still there and is still a Chanel boutique, it's kind of like going to Seattle and visiting the first Starbucks. That's kind of cool. Love that. All right. Next we have the 1920s. So it goes into the launch of the Chanel No. 5 perfume. Launch of the first Chanel perfume, No. 5. This women's perfume, which smells like a woman, revolutionary due to its composition, name, and presentation, was born out of Gabrielle Chanel's partnership with perfumer INSPO. Okay, so when I was in the airport, like sometime in my 20s, I was just kind of putzing around the airport super bored, and I was like, oh, I've never actually tried Chanel No. 5 before. So I sprayed it on. I think I did like 2 or 3 big sprays. And then as soon as I left that little boutique, I was like, I made a mistake. So it just doesn't work with my body chemistry. I know certain perfumes can like work well or not work well with certain people, and Chanel No. 5, oh my gosh, I had to go and give myself like a sponge bath in the airport bathroom. It was awful. Okay, 1922, launch of Chanel No. 22 perfume. INSPO creates Chanel No. 22. Its name is a reference to the perfume's year or creation, 1922. It was inspired by the same revolutionary spirit that characterized No. 5. The powdery floral fragrance is a seductive scent carried by tuberose. Okay. Launch of the first makeup collection was in 1924. The Société de Parfum Chanel company, it's created in 1924 to produce and sell perfumes and cosmetics. INSPO then became the house's first in-house perfume designer. The first collections of powders and lipsticks were created in the same year. I've never really had Chanel makeup at all. I don't know. Launch of the Gardenia perfume. Gabrielle Chanel creates Gardenia with INSPO. Okay. A white flower like the camellia, Chanel's icon. I have to tell you a story in a second. Chanel's iconic flower with a scent that cannot be extracted. The gardenia has a more distinctive olfactory signature. Reproduced in 1983, it has formed part of Les Exclusifs collection since 2007. Okay, this has nothing to do with perfume, but I worked at SeaWorld, and I was in the education department, and we had these name tags that if you forgot your name tag, you were like punished by having to wear like the name tags that they came up with. And they came up with like just a bunch of far off like names that aren't very popular or kind of silly sounding. And so there was this one guy named Ernest, and he had his name tag on, and one of the new educators was like, oh, you forgot your name tag today? And he's like, no, my name is actually Ernest. It's really funny. Okay, 1927, Launch of Cuir de Rosy perfume. Sorry, I took French for like 10, 20 years and my French is still awful. INSPO creates Cuir de Rosy. The new leather oriental fragrance evokes the saddlery of the equestrian world. So cuir meaning leather, so I guess it's got a smell of leather in it. Its trail and name are a reference to birch tar, which was used by Russian soldiers to waterproof their boots. Interesting. I don't think I've ever smelled that perfume before. So this is a lot of perfume. I was really looking for more bag inspiration, but we'll go with it. Launch of the first skincare range. And this is in 1927. So she's really, with the help of Ernest, making quite a few lines at this point. Launch of the first Chanel beauty products, a complete range of 15 skincare products, a reflection of Mademoiselle Chanel's innovative vision. It's interesting that she went from like hats and then 10 years later has like a skincare line. So she was really a business lady. All right, 1928, construction of the La Posa Villa. In September 1928, Gabrielle Chanel purchases land in Roquebrune-Cap-Martin between Menton and Monaco. There she built her villa, La Posa. In this provincial house, Gabrielle Chanel hosts numerous friends, including the Duke of Westminster, Jean Cocteau, Pierre Reverdy, the Hugo family, and even Gala and Salvador Dali. That's cool. I don't really know who any of those people are, but good for you, girl. Okay, 1928, launch of Bois d'Ile perfume. Bois d'Ile, created by INSPO, again, is one of the first woody oriental fragrances in the history of women's perfume. With a core of yang yang and sandalwoods, its name is a reference to the 1920s and this era's characteristic penchant for exoticism and travel. Okay. All right, now we are going on to the 1930s, and it says Gabrielle Chanel in Hollywood. Okay, we're getting a little bit more interesting here. Upon the request of American producer Samuel Goldwyn, Gabrielle Chanel leaves for Hollywood in February 1931 to dress the actresses of the United Artists Studio. She then designed costumes for the following films: Tonight or Never and The Greeks Had a Word for Them. Okay, interesting. There's a picture of her and actress Ina Claire. Awesome, love it. Then we have presentation of the Bijoux de Diamant high jewelry collection in her mansion at 29 Rue du Faubourg Saint-Honoré in Paris. Gabrielle Chanel presents Bijoux de Diamant, her only high jewelry collection. More than 45 jewelry pieces are presented. Wow. Okay, I wonder. Let's see. So they do have a picture of like this diamond necklace. It's like a star, like a falling star that kind of wraps around the back of the neck. Gosh, I wonder how much that's worth now. That's crazy. It's pretty cool. All right, now we're into the 1940s. So closing of the couture house. During World War II, Chanel closes its couture house. Of the 5 Rue Cambon buildings, only the 31 boutique remained open, where perfumes and accessories continued to be sold. Wow. Marilyn Monroe and Number 5, 1952. So Life magazine dedicated its feature story to Marilyn Monroe on April 7th, 1952. It was in this issue that the actress's declaration of the love for Number 5 perfume was first recorded. When asked Marilyn, "What do you wear to bed?" Marilyn Monroe first answered, "So I said I only wear Chanel Number 5. In 1955, photographer Ed Feingersh took a series of portraits of Marilyn Monroe spraying herself with Number 5. I hope it smelled better on her than it did on me. 1954, the comeback. Okay. Age 71, Gabrielle Chanel decides to reopen her couture house with a fashion show event on February 5th, which was extremely well received by the American press. The first look of her collection was a jersey set with the Number 5. Okay, this is a cool picture. Gabrielle Chanel on the Staircase at 31 Rue Cambon by Robert Doisneau, 1953. 1954, arrival of Henry Robert. He succeeds INSPO as the perfumer for the House of Chanel. 1955, creation of the, okay, here we go, we're getting into the handbags. Creation of the 2.55 handbag, I don't know if that's how you say it. In 1955, Gabrielle Chanel creates the famous quilted handbag with a gold chain called the 2.55, named after its date of creation. Oh, this functional bag equipped with a soft sliding chain allowed one's hand to be free. And it's a picture of her with her bag. Pretty cool. This is a lot of perfume. Okay, 1955, launch of Pour Monsieur fragrance. Henry Robert creates Pour Monsieur, the only men's fragrance launched during the Mademoiselle's lifetime. The fresh Chypre scent revealed top notes of lemon, spicy middle notes, and woody trail. Interesting, because a lot of her other scents had like leather and yang yang, which can be very masculine. 1956, creation of trimmed tweed suit. So Gabrielle Chanel debuts the emblematic trimmed tweed suit into her collection. I know these are very popular. It's something that always has seemed very matronly to me. So I've never been bitten by the bug of I need to get like a Chanel jacket. And then 1957, creation of the two-toned pumps. Okay, these are cool. So these are still going on in Chanel. Gabrielle Chanel creates a two-tone pump with black tips. The beige leather helps elongate the legs, and the black tip makes the foot look smaller. Shoemaker, that's an interesting theory. Shoemaker Massaro added the elastic strap around the heel for more comfort, marking a revolution. They kind of, to me, resemble like Siamese cats. Now we're going into the 1960s. Celebrities dress in Chanel. The most prominent women of the era, Elizabeth Taylor, Jane Fonda, Jackie Kennedy, Romy Schneider, Jean Moreau, etc., are dressed in Chanel, and they have a picture of Romy Schneider wearing a famous tweed suit, two-tone shoes, and carrying the 2.55 bag in Paris, 1962. She is just dressed to the nines. And then in 1965, we have the arrival of Jacques Hello. He becomes artistic director of perfumes and beauty products for Chanel. As the artistic director for the fragrance and beauty division, as well as for the brand's watches and fine jewelry division, he was responsible for its image. The iconic advertising films created under his direction resulted from the dialogue that he maintained with the directors, to whom he granted great freedom of expression. Okay. There's a portrait of him from 2004. So he must have been with them for quite a while. All right, now headed into the 1970s, more perfume. Launch of Chanel number 19, which was created by Henry Robert. This green floral scent is characterized by its main floral note, the iris, which gives it a powdery touch. So I would be interested in smelling that because I have no idea what an iris smells like. Oh, this is sad. Okay, 1971, the death of Gabrielle Chanel. So may my legend prosper and thrive. I wish it a long and happy life. Mademoiselle Chanel passes away at the Ritz on January 10th. Her posthumous collection was a huge success. Interesting. It doesn't say how old she was when she passed away. I'm not quite sure. 1978, the arrival of Jacques Polge. He becomes the third perfumer of the house. All right. I'm going to start skipping through, I think, a lot of this perfume. Oh, this is big. 1983, the arrival of Karl Lagerfeld. He's named the artistic director of Chanel. He brought life back into the Cruise collection, introduced the Métier d'Art and pre-collection, restored Haute Couture to its former glory, and created the Chanel ready-to-wear collection as we know it today. What a great and just iconic designer. Okay, 1984, launch of Coco perfume. I did have that for a while. That one actually I did like a lot, so 1984 was my year. 1985, acquisition of Maison de Rue, button maker. De Rue is the first artistic craft house purchased by House of Chanel. All right, 1987, creation of the Chanel watches. Interesting. If anyone watches Alex with HRH collection, these watches kind of look like some of the jewelry that she makes. First campaign by Karl Lagerfeld was in 1987 to 88. He creates his first advertising campaign for Chanel as photographer Ines de la Fressange, who already was the face of Coco, was the musée for the campaign. Showing some of her, a picture of her. Interesting. Oh, the 80s. Now we're going into the 90s, launch of Egoiste perfume. Okay, another perfume. 1990, creation of the Mademoiselle watch. I don't know that I've ever even known that Chanel, I've never thought to myself, I need a Chanel watch. But interesting, they kind of are making a big deal about it. Okay, acquisition of G&F Chatelain watchmaking manufacturer in Switzerland. Right, so more into the watches. Now in 1993, creation of Chanel fine jewelry. So again, they're showing that the Comet necklace, which was also from 1932. 1995, oh, that's an iconic picture. It says Claudia Schiffer are the faces, Helen Christensen and Claudia Schiffer, the faces of the 1995 spring-summer ready-to-wear collection. This resoundingly successful collection made a lasting impression. The campaign was photographed by Karl Lagerfeld. Again, super iconic, at least for me. Like, that's when I was growing up, what I remember. Now, I did have a ton of the Chanel nail polishes. They weren't honestly the best regarding how well they stayed on. They chipped really easily. I think I had them on like maybe 2 or 3 days. I bought like maybe 4 or 5 of them, and then I was like, I might as well just get normal nail polish from like CVS, because this is not worth the money I'm paying for it. But 1995 is when they launched the Rouge Noir Nail Lacquer. 1996 to 1997 fall winter ready-to-wear campaign. Karl Lagerfeld selects Scottish model Stella Tennant as the face of the fall winter ready-to-wear collection. Her androgynous allure marked a turning point in the aesthetics of this period. That's a cool picture as well. And then 97 to 98, appointment of the Virginie Viard to the studio Haute Couture studio. So Virginie Viard is named the director of Chanel Haute Couture studio, where she is responsible for the embroidery department. 2 years later, she also takes over the ready-to-wear studio. She joined Chanel Creation Studio as an intern in 1987. Isn't there a bunch of like stuff going on? That name sounds really familiar. I'm pretty sure she just left and everyone's freaking out. Obviously, I don't pay much attention to Chanel. All right, 97, opening of the fine jewelry boutique at 18 Place Vendôme. And now we're going into the 2000s, creation of the J12 watch. Again, not really big into watches in general. 2000, first fashion show for the Cruise collection. And it's got an interesting little picture there. Launch of Coco Mademoiselle perfume, 2001. I don't think I ever got into that perfume. 2002, acquisition of the Maison Lesage and Massaro. Shoemaking house, okay. I'm not super intrigued by any of this. Satellite Love, the first Métier d'Art collection. So Karl Lagerfeld launches the Chanel Métier d'Art collection, an annual ready-to-wear collection that out with the official collection calendar pays tribute to the expertise of these exceptional craftsmen. This collection, names Satellite Love, made up of 33 models, is presented to the Haute Couture salons of House of Chanel. Okay. Chance advertising film. Gabrielle Chanel believed in luck and surrounding herself with various talismans and good luck charms. Jacques Polge then creates Chance, and for the first time, sensuality and rose enter the codes of the house. Jean-Paul Goude creates an advertising campaign in Venice. Flankers of the perfume were launched later. Chanson Fresh in 2007, Chanson Tendre in 2010, and Chanson Vive in 2015. I've also never tried that perfume either. Okay. So in 2004, first Métier d'Art fashion show abroad. The first time the House of Chanel hosts a Métier d'Art fashion show abroad. It takes place at the new Chanel flagship store in Ginzan, Tokyo. And then there's a picture of the staircase that's really famous. 2004 launch of Allure Homme. So they're really going into a lot of the fragrances. Again, Nicole Kidman, 2004, Face of Number 5. Let's see. Launch of Creme Sublimage. This cream, global anti-aging effects. Launch of Rouge Allure lipstick. 2007, Keira Knightley, Face of Coco Mademoiselle. That stands out to me because I just remember seeing those ads everywhere when I was younger. So again, lots of perfume. 2007, Death of Jacques Collot. He was a fragrance guy. And then opening of the fine jewelry studio in 2009, and now we're going into 2010. We're going to the Plume jewelry collection in 2010, very fancy. Again with the comment, 80th anniversary of the Bijoux de Diamant collection created in 1932 by Mademoiselle Chanel. Again, I want to know how much that is worth. It's got to be crazy. That was 2012. Going into watches, high jewelry. Okay, 2013. So this is the staircase that I was talking about. At the heart of the house of Chanel, located on the second floor of 31 Rue Cambon in Paris, between the haute couture salons and the studio accessible via the mirrored staircase, hides Gabrielle Chanel's apartment. The eclectic style deeply reflects her personality and journey, an emblematic place that still remains a source of inspiration for Chanel creations. In 2013, the French Ministry of Culture classified the apartment and the mirrored staircase as historical monuments, recognizing their national importance. That's so cool. I would definitely love to go ahead and check that out. 2015 with Keira Knightley, Coco Crush collection. Boyfriend watch in 2015. 2015 arrival of Olivier Polge, head of the perfume collection. 2016 cruise collection in Cuba, looks like quite the party. More watches in 2016, more perfume in 2017. Watch, okay. More perfume launches. 2019, Death of Karl Lagerfeld. I remember that. Okay. Appointment of Virginie Viard she's named the artistic director of Chanel fashion collection. What year is this? 2019? Yeah, 2019. Virginie Viard reinvents collection after collection in a lore in which refinement is found in the simplicity and the excellence of detail. 2019, J Watch, okay, cruise collection in 2019, 2020, a watch. And that's pretty much it. Kind of ends not on a bang. Okay, so did this help me to feel more inspired by my Chanel bags? No, it did not. But like I said, I don't think that I'm going to be selling the bags that I have for now. I really feel like I would probably end up regretting it. I've just been kind of like cuddling this bag while I was reading through all the Chanel history. I don't know. I mean, I like them. I just, for some reason, don't gravitate towards them. I feel like Chanel's just very kind of like, you see the logo and you know, and then you're like, is it real or is it fake? Kind of a lot like with Louis Vuitton, but then also with Hermes, is it fake? I mean, I have a real Birkin, a real Kelly, a whole bunch of real like Hermes bags, and then I have like my little fake one, and if you know, you know, and if you don't, you don't. So I don't know, that's kind of annoying. But I do think I'm gonna try to add like some bag charms on the bags. I've never been a bag charm person, but maybe just something to kind of like spruce it up a little bit and see if I can start wearing them out more. And I'll let you know if like any of that works and if I'm inspired to wear them. Anyways, I know this was a really long video. I just wanted to kind of like try to inspire myself, and maybe you have a Chanel bag or some bags in your collection and you're trying to find some inspiration. So maybe this helped you more than it helped me. Anyways, thanks for watching. Bye.